Is Thanasis Antetokounmpo the worst player in the NBA? Though he only played 8 minutes in a lengthy loss, Thanasis Antetokounmpo's performance in a recent NBA game against the Atlanta Hawks received criticism. Nevertheless, he produces enough phases for a somewhat satisfying film of poor plays and picks. Why does he play in the NBA? He'd be working at McDonald's if he weren't for his brother, one user said. Of course, others came to defend him quickly. Recently, Emoni Bates, a rookie with the Cleveland Cavaliers who has occasionally been the subject of intense criticism, took to social media to show his support for the older Antetokounmpo sibling. While Thanasis Antetokounmpo is a bench player who has never averaged more than 10 minutes per game in any of his 4 prior seasons with Milwaukee. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a 28-year-old two-time NBA MVP. They both own championship rings that they took home from Bucks' 2021 NBA Final victory. Bates made sure to remind everyone that being a good teammate is about more than just having outstanding statistics and an impressive collection of accolades. After all, the worst player in the NBA may still be among the finest basketball players in the world. In making that assessment, the 19-year-old showed a commendable level of maturity. Hopefully, he can apply those lessons to his own NBA career, which at points seems unlikely. He was a highly regarded high school athlete who was projected to excel as a collegiate player at the University of Memphis. After a dismal freshman season at that school due to a back injury, he transferred to Eastern Michigan University for the 2022-23 season. He was selected in the second round of the 2023 NBA draft following a strong collegiate campaign. From there, he won over NBA onlookers as well as Cavaliers players like Donovan Mitchell to gain admittance. He claims that becoming a member of the Cavaliers has inspired him to play the game again. He made his debut in his team's 3rd game, and in 2 games this season, he's averaging 4.5 points and almost 15 minutes per game. His willingness to stand up for an older NBA player on a different team, even though he seemed to have nothing to gain from doing so, is maybe even more astounding. Since joining the Milwaukee Bucks in the 2019-20 season, Thanasis Antetokounmpo has served as a reliable end-of-bench option. Fans were calling Giannis Antetokounmpo nepotism after garbage time Thanasis clips left them feeling incredibly disappointed. However, Giannis has made sure his brother plays in the NBA. Some fans resorted to calling Thanasis simply awful. Fans continued mocking this highlight reel of bad Thanasis plays in garbage time. Fans clearly saw that Thanasis was not NBA caliber, but also praised Giannis for keeping his brother in the league. Fans were upset that Thanasis was keeping a roster spot away from a player with actual talent who could use this opportunity. Fans know Thanasis has job security until Giannis is on the roster. Fans even question if Thanasis practices. That's how bad his highlights were. For a long, his presence has been continuous, although many people first defended it by pointing out that Thanasis still had some NBA value. In the 2nd round of the 2014 NBA draft, he was originally selected by the Knicks to play basketball. He has, however, never been a rotational player and has spent years as a locker room man lingering on the Bucks bench. If I were Giannis, I would also guarantee my brother $1 million paycheck in exchange for keeping him close to me in day-to-day living. A player who can control the emotions and ego of the franchise superstar is valuable, even if someone else could make greater use of the opportunity. Even though Giannis is significantly more skilled than Thanasis, Thanasis is known to challenge Giannis the most in the locker room without disrupting their chemistry. Does it matter if Thanasis isn't on the roster? Because every team will probably have 12 or 13 players in the actual rotation throughout a season. NBA rosters are 15 players deep. Only 8 to 9 will ultimately make it onto a postseason rotation. Thus, having the 15th person on your squad be unplayable isn't that big of an issue. With a small roster and Udonis Haslem as their 15th player, the Miami Heat had just made 2 trips to the finals. It was well worth the money since he provided steadiness to the locker room. Though he might not have much of an impact on the entire Bucks locker room, Thanasis does have a significant impact on his younger brother. Every NBA team would hire Thanasis to keep Giannis happy. Thus, the team should bear more of the guilt than the Antetokounmpos. Who could refuse this? The Bucks have no issues with adding more Antetokounmpos to their roster, given that they also signed and waived Alex Antetokounmpo to keep his G League rights. Thanasis has averaged 2.7 points and 1.8 rebounds per game throughout his 4 seasons with the Bucks. Despite not being a particularly good player, he is still the NBA champion and will be on the team as long as he is able to play basketball. How does Thanasis Antetokounmpo respond to his doubters? Thanasis Antetokounmpo advises against letting other people write your narrative and says that Adrian Griffin, the Bucks' new head coach, had an impact on his decision to stay in the Milwaukee. After snagging the rebound under the basket, Thanasis Antetokounmpo spins, dribbles, sprints across the court, gets past 3 defenders, faces two opponents in the paint, drives with assurance, moves into a layup position, and thrashes out a hard right-handed shot over the seasoned Jordanian player Ziad Abbas. The referee signals a foul as the ball just misses the top of the backboard and finds its target as it gracefully crosses the net. The entire Greek national team bench rushes to their feet, exploding in cheers for Thanasis. He seizes the opportunity, fixing his bench's eyes and wearing a fierce expression. For a basketball player like Thanasis Antetokounmpo, the code is sacrosanct. We've grown accustomed to seeing him take on many duties for his squad, but with coach Dimitris Itaudis' rotation cut short and injuries posing new obstacles, the Greek national team needs him more than ever. The situation is totally different than ever when I had to play for the national team, but I trust the coach and the plan he prepared for me. I do whatever it takes, man. Antetokounmpo shares with Basket News in the lead-up to the highly anticipated FIBA World Cup matchup against Team USA. As the only NBA player on this year's Greek roster, Thanasis is ready to face off against both potential superstars and well-known NBA players. Reports that raised doubts about his ability to play in the NBA not too long ago attracted millions of views and sparked conversations. In our conversation on Basket News, Thanasis revealed the crucial lesson he wishes to impart to young people. He also discussed the possibility of relocating to New York from Milwaukee and how he responds to those who question his skills. Thanasis gracefully responded to this question by saying that everybody has their opinion, but the only time it hurts you is when it's true. If it's true, it hurts you. He continued, but at the same time, if you know my journey, bro, I didn't have what to eat. Who cares about an article? I didn't have anything to eat. I'm a son of immigrants. Regarding some articles, you have to understand that sometimes it's very kind of like we live in a very competitive space and you kind of know what's going on. If you're doing something good, what was the reason for that report? Who was trying to prove what? I didn't say anything controversial. I didn't do anything controversial. I just do my job and go home. So what's the reason? I have no clue. Exactly, so let's sleep on this. Let's sleep on this. Maybe you'll see me again one day and say perhaps this was the reason. I'll give you an example. I promise you this, bro. Nobody can give you anything in life. Seems like he's doing what he promised. Thursday saw a major Eastern Conference matchup between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics, with the Bucks putting pressure on the Celtics for the top overall spot in the East. A lot was riding on this game. Despite the recent struggles, the Bucks won 135-102 to send a strong message. Even Thanasis Antetokounmpo, a seldom utilized reserve for the Bucks, saw action because how lopsided the game was. Not only that, but according to Eric Nam of The Athletic, he emphasized the game. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, then don't forget to hit that like button below. And if you want to stay updated with more great content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button and just ringing the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us. Your support means the world to us.